Hey everybody, we're going to continue our series on paying for long-term care. In the first part, I talked about the general statistics and understanding what long-term care is. Now we're going to jump into the public assistance programs that are available out there. So let's start with Medicare. Does Medicare pay for long-term care? The answer is no. No, they don't. Medicare is medical insurance. It is not long-term care. So understanding that difference between long-term care and medical issues becomes very important. But what Medicare does do is help you transition into long-term care and out of long-term care, believe it or not. So when we look at some of the things that Medicare helps with, 20 days in skilled nursing, up to 80 additional days if a doctor deems them necessary, it really is all about the beginnings of that transition into long-term care. But at the end of life, we have hospice. Many areas have wonderful hospice. We're lucky to have the Hospice of the Valley in Arizona here, which is fantastic, and Medicare pays for those. So sign in here, sign out here. That's kind of the idea of Medicare. They're going to help you in that transition period in and then out of long-term care. Medicaid is going to be different state by state. We have federal Medicaid and we have state Medicaid. So every state's going to have a little bit different rules, but they're all essentially the same. And that becomes very important to understand. Medicaid is our social backup system. Medicaid is there as long as you meet basic eligibility, and they're here to pay for all costs in long-term care. So U.S. citizen residing in a state, that state is either going to have the state-run program or they're going to be a part of the federal program. Medical requirements are there, income and asset requirements. Understand the essence of this program is to help those who don't have the funds to help themselves. So you got to be broke. You got to have run out of money. Most of the programs, $2,000 to your name is all you're allowed to have. Income, $2,500 to $3,000 a month, somewhere in there. And most programs, if you're a little over, they have ways to work around that through special trusts that allocate some of the funds for, haircuts and things that long-term care don't cover. Plus, you're allowed to have some resources there for burial costs and funeral costs, things like that. So understand Medicaid, you do have to essentially be broke, and the income, there could be some gray area in qualifying for that part of the program. Trying to hide money, don't do it. They have a 5-year look back, and forensic auditors can come in and find that money pretty quick and easy. So hiding money in trusts, giving it to heirs, and then applying for Medicaid, don't do it. It's not legal, and you shouldn't be doing it anyways. This is for people that don't have the resources. Then there's the VA aid and attendance benefit. Okay, so the first one, Medicare, most everybody has Medicare post 65. That's going to help you in and out. Then you've got Medicaid. Once you run out of money, that's there to help pay for whatever care you need. And then there's the veterans benefits. So the VA, depending on disability and all those types of things within the VA, there's lots of benefits out there. But one that people need to understand about is called the VA Aid and Attendance Program, because not only is this for veterans, but it's also for spouses and widows of veterans. So that's important to understand. And the difference between this program and the other two is pretty simple. If you have the necessity for care and the right financial system or situation, then the Veterans VA Aid and Attendance Benefit will give you a payment, a new pension to help you pay for these increased costs when they come. So basic eligibility, you have to have 90 days of service, 1 day of which has to be as a part of these periods of war. So World War II, Korean conflict, Vietnam, and the Gulf War all qualify. So important to make sure that we've got the service requirements, medical requirements. Pretty easy to get through the medical requirements. The VA has a form, it's 2 pages listing out a whole bunch of things. If a doctor signs off on them, any doctor, then you'll be approved on the medical side. The income side of this is really interesting. It's a different way to qualify. So you can have unlimited income. You could have $20,000 a month between pensions and Social Security coming in, okay? So it's perfectly fine. They don't judge you based on your income, but it's your income minus the expenses to care. So if, let's say, you get an estimate from an at-home care company and they say that 24/7 at-home care is going to cost you $20,000 a month. Big extreme example. I understand whether it's 5,000 a month or 10 or 20. I'm just trying to make the example here. If you have 20,000 worth of income and 20,000 worth of expenses, in the eyes of the VA, as it applies to this program, you have no income, and that's what you want. That is how you'll qualify for the maximum benefit. And so it's good to know that there's lots of ways to work with those numbers and understand the expenses that are out there. Once you qualify, they will qualify you off estimates. You can choose to have a spouse care for you, a family member, whatever the case may be. Maximum allowable assets, 80,000 for a married couple, 40,000 for a single person. But there's a few things with this. They don't include personal residences, vehicles, things like that, household items. And they also have no look back period at this point. So unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to look at it, you could be a millionaire today, maneuver your money around and be broke the next day and apply. So understand that that's the qualification system that they have. There is no look back like Medicaid. And in terms of benefits, the benefit is paid directly to you, and you can spend it on whatever you want. You don't have to pay medical bills with it or pay for a long-term care facility. That has nothing to do with this. What's covered? Well, the money's going into your bank account. Spending it on whatever you want is perfectly fine. And then maximum benefits, these adjust every single year. So a little over $31,000 for a married veteran. Single veteran is $26,000, and surviving spouse will get $17,000. And this comes in as a monthly pension. It does take a while to get the paperwork filed and approved. We've seen typically around 6 months once you file the proper paperwork to approval, but they pay you a retro check from the day that you applied for it. So you get a nice big lump sum up front, which is nice. So those are the public assistance programs that are out there. Next, I'm going to talk about the products, and then we'll look at more the planning side of this after that. So it's very important that we have the full picture when we talk about planning for long-term care and how we're going to pay for long-term care. Everybody's in a different situation. Everybody has different resources and abilities to actually pay for long-term care and be in control of their situation. So very important. We know all aspects of this, and that includes Medicare, Medicaid, and programs like this VA aid and attendance benefit. All right, so next week, I'll make sure that we get into the products. We'll talk about the traditional long-term care insurance. We'll talk about annuities and life insurance. We'll look at those types of products that are out there and who should be looking at them and considering them and using them properly. That's the hard part. Instead of just getting sold them, we got to make sure we know what's right for each person. So if we can help in any way, shoot us an email, give us a call. Always happy to help. We're nationwide via Zoom. We've been bringing on new clients all over the United States. And strangely getting lots of calls from Canada. I'm not sure why. So welcome, Canucks. If you own real estate in the United States, I can help. But if you're solely living in Canada, unfortunately, that is different licensing that you need up in Canada. So always happy to help, and shoot us an email, give us a call anytime. Subscribe, share with friends, all those wonderful things, and we'll see you next week.